Weird.
We can't all make declarations of hatred at the same time. Hi, everybody.
There are dozens of us. Dozens!
你好中国，只要吸纳我爱更尊重中。Shield up. There's nothing sacred.
Oh, wait a Alson, help me up onto his casket so I can dance on it.
I don't care.
But how did you ever find us?
Oh, easy. We just read the screenplay you left us.
And Hispanic people too.
Globe gold! Globe gold! Globe gold!
You get nothing! You lose! Good day, sir!
I'll help you.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
Just when I thought I...
Get up, it's morning, time to get mad. 'Cause everything in Hollywood is just so bad. From raps to nonsense and just plain cringe. These directors and celebrities are on the fringe. So pour some coffee into your cup and listen, 'cause it's time to wake the hell up. The rage is real, we're not performing. This is Marvin Movie Monster in the morning.
Good morning, one and all. Welcome to another episode of Marvin Movie Monster in the morning. My name is Marvin, and I am the Movie Monster, and I am thrilled to bring you guys back here for another morning live stream with us, another hour of news, of pop culture news brought to you, brought straight to you. It's a morning delivery service for the truth. Can we say it? Can we say it like that? Can we be like Foxers? Be like, the truth lives here. I am currently sipping coffee, and my breakfast this morning consists of a protein bar, which I have these. It's called the Anna Bar. And it's the best tasting protein bar I've ever had in my life. It tastes like a candy bar, which probably means it's not good for you. But I like to pretend that it is, at the very least. It's from a guy named Remington James. He developed them, and he's like a meathead guy, but he has really good recipes, like they call it anabolic recipes, on his channel, which involves like taking you can create like a Big Mac, but you can do it using like 96% lean ground beef, and then like create the sauce with like lower fat alternatives and fat-free cheese and stuff like that. And it actually comes out really, really good. The last time that I got in like scary good shape, it was following his recipes. So I'm gonna start trying to do that again. That was before I was married and everything like that. Nothing ruins your drive to work out like happiness, right? Like I've always said misery is a wonderful motivator, and happiness just kind of like erodes your motivation to, but I can't think like that. Nobody can. So definitely important. I've been doing the DDP yoga as well, so that's been going pretty well. Not to give you guys like a full life update here, because that's not why you're here. Kendrick Lamar just said, "Women ruin your gains." It's a yeah. Oh, Manon. So yeah, a lot of news going on this week. A whole lot happening in Hollywood. Disney is on fire. pretty much. People are pretending that they were like, oh, J.K. Rowling has a problem with trans people? I had no idea. Like, come on, man. So we're going to talk about all of it today. The Hollywood media has just turned on Jared Leto. This is an article that I just published literally like 7 minutes ago. It came out right at 9 o'clock. So I'm very excited to talk about that one because it is it's wild. Disney is considering co-CEOs. That's another one that we might talk about today if we have time, because it's so strange. This company has no idea what it's doing. It manages to make the wrong decision at every turn, and it's almost impressive. So let's have a look-see at what's the first thing we want to talk about here today. Should we talk about Jared Leto first? Yeah, let's talk about Jared Leto first, because man, oh man, Hollywood has got him in its crosshairs. So just so you guys know, also, this is a show made for you, financed by you. I count on your generous super chats to keep the lights on around here. So if you super chat, I will be reading your super chats in between the news articles of the day. So any help is appreciated, and but it's not an obligation. Of course, we are here to have fun. We are here to talk. We are here to share the news, and let's do it. Let's get it going, as they say. I don't know who says that, but they apparently do. All right, guys. Hollywood media turns on Jared Leto after Tron Ares' box office failure. Is he Disney's scapegoat? Yes, he is. And look, this is not going to be a big defense of Jared Leto, like, oh, they misunderstood our taste, he's a tortured soul. No, I despise Jared Leto as an actor, because Jared Leto is not just like he makes the hackiest acting decisions of all time, but he's a weirdo creep. And look, I like 30 Seconds to Mars. Judge me for that if you will, but I think he's a good musician. I like his songs. A lot of his songs are on my writing playlist that I kind of use to help get the creative juices flowing whenever I'm working on a new project. So I don't dislike Jared Leto entirely. I just really don't like him as Hollywood leading man. And apparently Disney doesn't anymore either. Because let's take a look at what the Hollywood Reporter had to say. When Tron Ares stumbled out of the gate, the entertainment press wasted no time in finding its culprit. Forget Disney's overstuffed release calendar, creative stagnation, or a year of record-breaking box office failures. No, the problem that led to Tron Ares' box office failure, according to outlets like the Hollywood Reporter, is Jared Leto. The trades have turned on the Oscar-winning actor with a vengeance, painting him as the problematic and egocentric architect of Ares' downfall. But while Leto certainly didn't help matters, the bigger story here isn't about one actor, it's about a studio in creative freefall. Of course, Jared Leto is the convenient Tron box office villain. And it really is. I mean, we've seen this before, guys. We've seen, like, when the trades turn on a celebrity like this, I'm convinced it is a studio mandate. The trades are owned and operated by the studios. They are an arm of the studio PR machine. That's why you can't really believe a lot of the stuff that they come out and say. They are constantly trying to protect the studios at all costs. And I think that Disney was just like open season on Jared Leto now that this movie has failed, because it couldn't possibly be us. Just like they let up open season on Rachel Zegler when Snow White failed. And remember, the trade started publishing hit pieces on Rachel Zegler until all of the woke celebrities pushed back. But here's the thing about that. Jared Leto and Rachel Zegler absolutely deserve part of the blame for the situations that they have found themselves in. They deserve a lot of the blame, probably, especially Rachel Zegler, for the failure of their movies. But Disney is not blameless of this. And that's what things like this try to do. They try to reframe the narrative to make Disney blameless. And it's all these evil celebrities. That's the problem. Their careers are over. Which I honestly think Jared Leto, I mean, he's still playing Skeletor in He-Man, which I'm dreading. Because what is he going to do to method act for that? He's going to rip his own face off? I digress. In its October 14th feature, The Hollywood Reporter framed Tron Ares as the moment Leto's star power ran out. The piece titled "No One Asked for This Reboot, Tron May Mark the End of Jared Leto's franchise-leading days" isn't subtle. It opens by mocking his flamboyant promotional stunts, revisits past personal controversies, and details how Leto allegedly strong-armed Ares into production through his charisma and persistence. As I take a sip of coffee. The article details Leto being elevated to producer and claims that the movie's narrative was reframed so that the protagonist became Ares, his character, instead of being a straight-up Tron Legacy sequel as it was first pitched. It concludes that with Ares flopping, The Insider says Leto's currency in town has run colder than Morbius's vampire blood. It's not balanced journalism. It is a Hollywood hit job because it can't be Disney's fault. Once one major trade runs a narrative like this, others do tend to follow. Agents and executives read that coverage and start repeating its claims as fact that Leto is over, that his currency has run out, that he can't open a movie. And in reality, Tron Ares is being used to cleanse Disney's own record of failure by pinning it on the most colorful target available. Now, at the end of the day, they did this to Rachel Zegler, and then all of a sudden, the rest of the Hollywood machine, mostly the celebrities, rallied around her because she was a little wokelet, woman of color. And so immediately, woman of half color. And then they had to immediately rally around her and be like, no, she's the best. Pedro Pascal called her an icon and crap like that. Nobody's going to come to Jared Leto's aid here. Jared Leto is not Rachel Zegler. He is not a 22-year-old, woman of half color. He's a creepy white dude in Hollywood. So he's going to, I honestly don't think anyone is coming to his defense. But let's be honest, Jared Leto didn't wreck Disney's 2025 theatrical slate. The company did that all by itself. As That Park Place previously reported in an article written by That Park Place publisher, WW Pro, Disney is enduring what may go down as its worst box office year in modern history. From Snow White to Elio to Thunderbolts, the studio has stacked up disappointment after disappointment, with even Captain America Brave New World and the Fantastic Four First Steps, supposed to be sure things, underperforming. By the time Tron Ares opened with a dismal $60 million global debut, Disney had already shattered its own record for annual flops. Consider this list. Snow White, a $240 to $270 million production, with many outlets claiming more than $300 million after extensive reshoots, which is what we have heard. That topped out near $205 million worldwide box office. That is just absolutely disgusting. Elio, Pixar's latest original, which also flopped after a ballooning budget, ran up a hefty price tag. Now with Elio, they basically scrapped the entire thing that they had already shot or recorded and reworked it entirely. I mean, America Ferrara left the movie, which can only help it, really, guys. But she left the movie, and then they reworked her character completely. So Elio ran up. What we were hearing also was like a $300 million budget, and then it made gagoots. Like it was absolutely nothing. Thunderbolts and Fantastic Four each failed to meet the break-even threshold once marketing was factored in. Freakier Friday and Captain America Brave New World had modest box offices with no profit margin. Tron Ares, the final meal with a big budget and a global debut, nearly 70% below projections. And we're going to see this weekend just how badly it tanks. I'm predicting a 70% fall off for this, especially because word of mouth has been so putrid. And the year isn't done. Even with Lilo and Stitch performing above expectations, the only credit where credit is due, Lilo and Stitch is the only movie this year to pull over $1 billion at the box office. And Avatar Fire and Ash, which for some ridiculous reason is going to probably pull in almost $2 billion. Like, I don't get it. I've never gotten it. I have no idea why. But people go to this movie, and then by the time they're home, they forget about it entirely and never talk about it again. Avatar is the weirdest thing to ever hit the cultural zeitgeist. I mean, it is super, super weird. I don't get it. I'll never get it. But even with those wins that, one win already in the bank and one that is very clearly going to be a win, the studio's profits will offset there's doubt that the studio's profits will offset its theatrical losses. 2 hits don't negate like 7 flops. That's the thing. I mean, Disney has lost hundreds of millions of dollars this year. Yet instead of dissecting what's gone wrong at the corporate and creative levels, over-reliance on remakes, inconsistent leadership, risk-averse storytelling, and trade Disney, of course, is about one film, but it understands its audience. Now, the Tron franchise was never mainstream, and the decision to reboot it for 2025 already looked like a stretch. But Disney's marketing failed to sell a reason for casual moviegoers to care. The visuals dazzled, but the story didn't. And Leto's otherworldly persona, a.k.a. him being a weirdo creep, couldn't make up for creative emptiness. Inside the company, executives continue chasing safe nostalgia over innovation. That's why we got Tron in the first place. Creative divisions are siloed and marketing departments are stretched across too many simultaneous releases. Under Bob Iger's leadership, or lack thereof, Disney's theatrical division has become a patchwork of panic and indecision, a far cry from the confident brand that once dominated multiplexes. And that's true. Bob Iger is not a creative leader. Bob Iger is a purchaser. Bob Iger is somebody who really knows how to shop well, which is great if you're hiring someone to help you buy pants, but not so great when you're trying to lead a multi-billion-dollar film studio. When the Hollywood Reporter blames Jared Leto, it lets Disney off the hook, which is the point. Now, that's convenient for a corporation that still controls ad buys and access for much of Hollywood media, and that's the biggie right there. The Hollywood trades won't cross Disney. They'll cross other studios. I've seen them like cross Warner Brothers and stuff like that. They won't touch Disney. Disney is entirely too powerful. So let's take a look at why Jared Leto. Why is he an easy target here? None of this is to suggest that Jared Leto is some innocent bystander. The actor has a long history of polarizing behavior that makes him an easy lightning rod whenever things go wrong. Leto was infamous for his extreme approach to method acting on the set of The Squad, the David Ayer one, not the James Gunn one. Co-stars described bizarre gifts that he sent in character as the Joker, items ranging from live rats to used adult items. I will allow you guys to fill in the blanks there in your own heads, which were actions meant to stay in character. Guys, I don't ever remember the Joker sending anybody used adult items or live rats. I mean, by the way, the fact that that was his Joker method acting shows you that Jared Leto never understood the Joker to begin with. This was all widely condemned as being unprofessional because it was. It was incredibly unprofessional, all in the interest of staying in character. Like, dude, just like your performances are nowhere near good enough to justify this. It's not like you're giving these transformational. Well, the guy won an Oscar once, and then everyone all of a sudden thought that he was like God's gift to acting, and now all of a sudden, every time he goes out there, he has to make this big, huge stink. Speaking of huge stinks, during Morbius, reports surfaced that his commitment to walking with crutches, even off camera, slowed production to the point that crew members had to wheel him to the restroom, and from what I've heard, put him on the toilet just to keep the shoot on schedule, because he wouldn't walk. Michael Morbius in the beginning of the movie walks on crutches, and so Jared Leto pretended that he was crippled for months on end. Beyond his on-set eccentricities, Leto has been the subject of serious allegations over the years. As the Hollywood Reporter noted, they were very quick to note this. They didn't note this when he was cast or before the movie came out, but they noted it now that it bombed. Airmail published 9 accounts from women describing disturbing conduct, including alleged advances toward minors. His representatives have denied all allegations, but the stories continue to a growing perception that Leto's off-screen persona carries baggage that the studios would rather avoid. Funny that the Hollywood trades are running with this now that he's the convenient pariah, whether it's true or not. It could very well be true. I have no idea. But the Hollywood trades weren't talking about it before they decided to place the blame for this film's failure. This film made $150 million at the box office its first weekend. Hollywood Reporter would in no way, shape, or form be mentioning these allegations of disturbing conduct. So the reputation combined with his self-styled image as a creative visionary, musician, actor, producer, director makes him both fascinating and frustrating for Hollywood. He's the kind of personality executives love when things go right and abandon the moment they go wrong. So there he is, guys. Jared Leto, possibly to blame for Tron Legacy. Now, look, he 100% has some of the blame. People don't like Jared Leto. People have not liked Jared Leto in a very long time. People hated him as the Joker. People laughed at him in House of Gucci. People, didn't go see him as Morbius, but in droves. He became a meme with how bad that movie was. So, yeah, nobody wants to go see Jared Leto be in Tron. And the fact that they made him Skeletor in Masters of the Universe, good Lord. I can't even imagine. I guarantee you he tries to talk in the Skeletor. Who knows what his Skeletor voice will be. I mean, even House of Gucci, like a lot of people like Lady Gaga and stuff in that movie, but even the positive reviews were like, this movie's great, but Jared Leto stunk in it. Because he was basically like, ha, it's me, Gucci. Just basically he was Mario when he was playing in House of Gucci. So, yeah, he is 100% part of the problem. He's polarizing. People don't like him. He is unlikable in pretty much every way, shape, and form. However, it is not just his fault. Disney is the problem here. This movie was written by, I mean, I think AI would have had more humanity writing this movie. The reviews said that like this movie was written by human beings who've never talked to another human being in their life. There were whole things about like this movie is proof that AI can't kill Hollywood fast enough. So Disney deserves the lion's share of the blame, with Jared Leto deserving some of the blame. But Hollywood is going to make this all his fault, and he is going to be the fall guy, and nobody is coming to save him the way they came to save Rachel Zegler. Not that Rachel Zegler is saved. She has no career left. She's pretty much done. But what do you guys think? Did Jared Leto actually tank this movie? Is the Hollywood media trying to make him the scapegoat? Sound off in the comments below and let me know. All right, guys, let's see what you're saying out there. All right, see you guys active there in the chat. Thank you very much for that. Hope that we are keeping you company here in the morning. Karen Hawkins just said that her 19-year-old niece loves Avatar and talks about the films all the time. That is the first person I've ever heard of in my life that actually talks about the Avatar films. Because for the most part, man, people, yeah, they don't typically continue to talk about that movie after they see it. I couldn't, like, when Avatar came out, I remember the thing was just like, there were all these characters they brought back from the first movie, and I was just like, oh, yeah, it's that guy. Oh, it's her. All right, let's get to our next story. If any super chats come in, we will get to them at the end of this story. So let's take a look. All right, guys. No mention of Rey Star Wars movie in Variety profile on director Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. Has the new Jedi Order been quietly canceled? I say yes. But when Variety publishes a major profile on a filmmaker, readers tend to notice not only what's included, but what's missing. And in the case of Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, the two-time Oscar-winning director who was once announced to helm a new Star Wars movie centered on Daisy Ridley's Rey Palpatine, a major omission might be the biggest story of all. Now, on October 11th, Variety ran an exclusive piece highlighting Obaid Chinoy's work as executive producer on Don't Be Late, Myra, a short film by Pakistani-American director Afia Nathaniel. The article, which praises Obaid Chinoy's support of socially conscious storytelling, of course it does, describes her as a 2-time Academy Award and 4-time Emmy winner, and notes of her experience directing Marvel's Ms. Marvel. The one thing it doesn't mention, not even in passing, is her, is Rey, is the Rey movie, the new Jedi Order, the movie that no one wants, the movie that Kathleen Kennedy dragged Daisy Ridley in a red dress up on stage at Star Wars Celebration for, paraded her out there in front of everybody, made a whole big to-do stink about, and then all of a sudden, absolutely no one cared. You guys didn't tell me that I've been using my computer microphone this entire time. Hold on. That was a stupid move by me. There we go. You should all hear me a lot better now. Guys, I count on you guys to tell me these things when I sound like I'm in a cave. And I'm sure I sounded like I was in a cave there. I can't hear myself. I just looked over and I realized that my regular microphone was not microphoning. So, let me know if this sounds better, though, guys. All right, let's keep going. For fans following the long-promised or threatened Rey sequel film, directed by Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, that silence could speak volumes. Now, she was a director that was once poised to lead Star Wars forward. In April of 2023, Lucasfilm officially announced that Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy would direct a theatrical Star Wars film set about 15 years after The Rise of Skywalker, centered around Rey. Now, Daisy Ridley would return, now rebuilding the Jedi Order, according to Lucasfilm's own presentation at Star Wars Celebration London. The film was to be the first in a new line of theatrical stories exploring the future of the galaxy far, far away. At the time, Obaid Chinoy was candid about her perspective on the project. In one interview, she said, "It's about time that we have a woman shape a story in a galaxy far, far away." Now, the reason there's this picture here is because that statement is asinine. That statement is absolutely absurd. Because the stories in this galaxy far, far away have been shaped by nothing but women, and I include Dave Filoni in that statement, for years now. I mean, what do you think? You're the first woman to ever tackle Star Wars? This woman right here on the screen, Kathleen Kennedy, not only tackled Star Wars, but she smothered it to death with a pillow. But that comment stirred debate among Star Wars fans, not the least because the franchise had already been shaped by women for years. Kathleen Kennedy has run Lucasfilm since 2012. Deborah Chow was the showrunner and director of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Leslie Headland, Harvey Weinstein's former personal assistant, Leslie Headland, created, wrote, and directed The Acolyte, and Bryce Dallas Howard has helmed several acclaimed Mandalorian episodes. So fans also resurfaced an older quote from Obaid Chinoy's documentary filmmaking days, where she claimed, "We like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable." This is the person that they were handing Star Wars to. I enjoy making men uncomfortable. Let me take this men's franchise, which, well, it's supposed to be a man's franchise, that women also enjoy. And though originally said in the context of social issue activism, not Star Wars, that remark was widely circulated and amplified by critics who felt that it signaled a confrontational approach to the beloved space saga. I mean, it did, right? Hope my microphone sounds better for you guys, by the way. And yes, men in Pakistan, like Wildman of Yavin just pointed out, men in Pakistan are not the same as men in America. And, you know, if that's what she's talking about, that's fine. But yeah, I believe it was. This is the woman that they handed Star Wars to. Obaid Chinoy has also described her vision for Rey's journey as exploring that of a female Jedi. She made sure that she put the modifier female Jedi, not exploring her growth as a Jedi, not exploring her growth fixing the Jedi Order, exploring her growth as a female Jedi. That is the important thing to Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy, is a framing that some fans saw as emphasizing gender politics over character growth. Still, for a time, her Star Wars movie appeared to be moving forward. Writer Damon Lindelof and co-writer Justin Britt Gibson had been attached early on and later replaced by Peaky Blinders creator Stephen Knight before he too left the project. Now, the movie reportedly bore the working title New Jedi Order and was intended to arrive in theaters December of 2026. Yeah, okay. Then the galaxy went quiet. In October 2024, the playlist broke the story that Stephen Knight had exited the film. We covered that on That Park Place as well, leaving its script in limbo. A few months later, Disney quietly pulled the untitled Star Wars slot from its December 2026 calendar and replaced it with Ice Age 6 instead. And this was that Star Wars Celebration. There's Sharmeen, and there's Kathy, and there's Daisy. And Daisy is like, I am never actually going to make this movie. By mid-2025, the trades began referring to the race-centered movie as On Hold. Inside the Magic reported that in June, Disney had suspended production on the project while shifting focus toward other planned films, including Sean Levy's Starfighter, which, by the way, is also rumored to have Rey in it. Just buckle up. To muddy the waters further, in January 2025, comicbookmovie.com claimed that Lucasfilm had tapped screenwriter George Nolfi to rewrite the project, which is proof that perhaps that it was still alive, albeit barely. Now, that leaves the film in what Hollywood veterans call development limbo, or development hell, more honest. Neither canceled nor active, neither alive nor dead. This is where a lot of Kathleen Kennedy's announced projects are. Because they don't. The only thing they've ever fully canceled, as far as I remember, is The Acolyte. So, like, technically, Kevin Feige's movie, Betty Weiss's movie, Taika Waititi's movie, the Rian Johnson's trilogy, they're all still technically, like, in production, you know? James Mangold, despite the fact that he's taking every other job in the world, that movie is still listed as being in production. His Dawn of the Jedi movie, that's never happening. So, back to the present. Variety's October 2025 profile of Obaid Chinoy is a glowing, detailed, and it is clearly based on her team's own promotional materials. It celebrates her humanitarian values and creative leadership, but the lack of any mention of Star Wars, a brand normally impossible for publicists to resist, feels deliberate. That's the truth here, guys. These puff pieces by the trades, they will typically pull in information from their publicists and their teams, and the omission of the Rey movie being discussed, that's got to be intentional. Because you're directing a major Star Wars movie and you don't mention it, like, that elevates you, or at least it should in some circles. But yeah, this is not looking good for the Rey movie. So if the Rey movie were still a cornerstone of Lucasfilm's future, it would likely appear in any current biographical paragraph about its director. Instead, the article names Ms. Marvel as her major studio credit and focuses on Don't Be Late, Myra, which is a short film. Now, that kind of editorial omission doesn't happen by accident. Publicists and trade editors know how to frame a client's narrative. If they leave something out, it's usually because that subject is either in flux, it's too uncertain to discuss publicly, or just out of frame, meaning it no longer fits the image they want to project. Either way, that ain't good. So Lucasfilm, of course, still lists multiple theatrical projects as being in development, which includes New Jedi Order. But development status is not the same as greenlight status. Many films linger on international slates long after creative momentum has evaporated. And here she is directing in Ms. Marvel. This woman directed one episode of one TV show. It's the only like non-documentary credit that she really has that's major. And they handed her Star Wars. In what universe does that make sense? But, you know, she's a feminist and she wants to explore Rey as a female Jedi. So that was all Kathleen Kennedy had to hear. But Star Wars appears to be, focusing elsewhere. The Mandalorian and Grogu, Starfighter, those are actually happening. Mandalorian and Grogu, we have a trailer for. I mean, Starfighter is already filming. So those somehow made it to the slate. But for Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy and the Rey movie, things look bleak. So what do you guys think? I said when they brought Daisy Ridley on stage, I said, this movie's never going to happen. Never going to happen. Kathleen Kennedy, now, if you believe the rumors, Kathleen Kennedy is just announcing things to try to save face. Because she gets to have that big moment on stage where she makes the announcement. She brings out the stars. They go, yay, yay, Kathleen Kennedy, yay. And then who cares if it never comes out? She got her moment on the stage. You know, like she doesn't have to go out there on the stage again and be like, actually the Rey movie's canceled. Like last Star Wars Celebration, they didn't even mention the Rey movie. Didn't even mention it. So, honestly, guys, I think this movie is deader than disco. It is definitely not happening, in my opinion. Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy. I mean, the fact that Variety left this out is a major omission. When you're trying to hype someone up, saying that they're directing a major upcoming Star Wars movie, that is a huge feather in their cap. And they just left it out. So what do you guys think? Is the Rey movie actually going to happen? Sound off in the comments below and let me know. Okay, guys. Let's see. See a bunch of you guys out there in the chat talking. I see Wildman of Yavin out there. Good to see you. I see Mike Glass. One Punch Man Token fan. Kendrick Lama. Karen Hawkins. Good to see you guys out there. Karen Hawkins asked an interesting question here. Do any of these women who are producing or directing Star Wars ever read or watch the originals? Leslie Headland claimed that she did. She was like, guys, Star Wars saved my life. And then she pitched an idea that she thought was fresh and original to Kathleen Kennedy about a character who comes to view the Jedi as the antagonists, and that's our protagonist. And I'm like, you mean from her point of view, the Jedi are evil, like Anakin Skywalker? And her and Kathleen Kennedy both thought that this was revolutionary as an idea. So that should tell you all you have to know about whether these people have actually seen Star Wars. So not seeing any super chats just yet to read. That's fine. You know, I always tell you guys you can give when you can, and if you can't, then don't. So I will try to do one more article while we have time. And then if there's any super chats after that, I will read them out. So let's see. Do we want to do... Yeah, I guess we got to do Harry Potter. Because this one cheesed me off, guys. All right, guys, we got some video game news here, which is not a thing that we often cover on the channel, but this incensed me. Like, utterly incensed me. The gaming media still thinks that Hogwarts Legacy needs saving from a boycott that never happened. Of course, this comes to us from That Park Place, written by yours truly.
And Hogwarts Legacy, guys, I loved Hogwarts Legacy. I've replayed it multiple times. I think it's a tremendous game. When we start our game stream back up, it is going to be the first game that we play together. The gaming media hates this game because they wanted it to fail, because J.K. Rowling speaks out about gender issues. J.K. Rowling, who agrees with progressive activists on 99.9% of the things that they believe, and just this 0.1% that she disagrees with on, and they think that she is literally, they say literally, so that's not me saying it, they think that she is the Austrian painter mustache man. Which I have to say it like that for YouTube's sake. I'm not speaking like a 5-year-old. And because of that, they thought that this video game was doomed to fail. The gaming media. Now, what's amazing, because the gaming media was saying it was going to fail because people were going to boycott it, and then it sold 34 million copies. 34 million. A number that people dream of in the gaming sphere. Ask Sucker Punch right now what it would give to sell 34 million copies of Ghost of Yotai. Ask BioWare how much they would love to sell 34 million copies of Dragon Age the Veilguard. Dragon Age the Veilguard, I'd be shocked if it sold 3 million copies. But anyway, Hogwarts Legacy was supposed to fail because the gaming media decided that it would fail. Then, despite being the biggest game of the year, it was not up for any awards at the fake, stupid Jeff Keighley Dorito Pope Game Awards, which is nothing more than just an elitist industry nonsense shillathon that happens every single year in the gaming community. So let's take a look here. The gaming press just can't help itself. This week, Game Rant published an article claiming that Hogwarts Legacy 2 must follow its instructions to avoid the same, quote, boycott that allegedly haunted the first game. It's a claim so absurd that it borders on parody because Hogwarts Legacy sold over 34 million copies. No boycott stopped it. No controversy derailed it. The game was a monster success. And I know monsters. So why are journalists still pretending there's a problem to solve? Now, the idea that Hogwarts Legacy was somehow tainted by social media outrage and made the victim of a progressive boycott is a convenient narrative for writers who oppose the game from the start because it helps them ignore the fact that they're irrelevant. They called for all of this and the gaming community ignored them, which, I mean, that's par for the course for access media games journalists at this point. It allows them to rewrite history to claim that if only the studio had listened to them, things might have gone differently. But reality don't bend that way, guys. The supposed Hogwarts Legacy boycott never left Twitter. There were hashtags, angry posts, editorials, and curated lists being used to harass streamers who dared to play it. I mean, seriously, people were making teenagers cry because they were playing this Harry Potter game and they were being harassed for it. None of it touched the sales, though. Hogwarts Legacy dominated Twitch. It topped the charts for months, and it became Warner Bros., and this is true, most successful game launch ever. Now, let's take a look at the media's new strategy to rewrite the story. Since the media can't deny the game's success, the press is trying to reframe it. Now, the line goes something like, Hogwarts Legacy may have sold millions, but it carries some kind of moral stain. One only the developers can scrub away by doing exactly what the access media gaming critics want. Which, I mean, you do the opposite of what they want and you make money. We've learned that. We saw that with the Veilguard. We saw it with Concord. We saw it with Dustborn. We saw, Ghost of Yotai, I believe, has made its production budget back, according to what Grums was just saying recently. But it's still performing 25% below the original, which for a sequel game is not what you want. So now, according to Game Rant, Avalanche Software's inclusion of a bartender character named Serona Ryan, who is a biological male who identified as female, boiled down to what they called performative representation. And this is the one piece of this article from Game Rant that I actually agreed with. It was performative representation. It was an attempt to try to placate these activists, these wild, angry activists, and it didn't work. Because they all were like, oh, it's performative. I'm like, okay, it's always performative. How do you not see that in literally everything else? Everything Disney does, all of Disney's representation, that's performative too. But this one, you're like, no, that's performative. You choose to see the truth when you still want to hate something, but you refuse to see it when it's something like Captain America: Brave New World. And they claim it didn't go far enough. The author argues that J.K. Rowling's personal beliefs can only be balanced by adding more gender identity driven characters, perhaps even making one a lead protagonist. Oh my goodness. That's the answer. Just make the whole game about gender. I mean, it worked so well for Dragon Age the Veilguard, a game so bad that BioWare is literally on its last leg. Anyway, Game Rant calls Rowling's beliefs, which stem from her experience as a survivor of assault by a man, harmful, and insists that Avalanche cannot clean up Rowling's mess without expanding those gender-focused roles. But there's no evidence that there was any lack of representation that cost the game anything. This game had so much representation in it. Let's take a look. Avalanche, so you could create a player in this game. You were able to create your character, right? You could create a biological male or female character and then assign them the title of witch or wizard, which is basically pronoun selection. It's independent of your body type. You could also, independent of voice as well. You could create a female character that had a male voice or like a male voice that you could then pitch up to sound like it was altered by hormones if you wanted to. Of course, this includes the aforementioned Serena Ryan character, and Hogwarts was a full-on rainbow of ethnic diversity that never existed in the film. So a lot of people like to say how white Hogwarts was, maybe because, you know, it was the UK in the early 2000s, or actually it was the UK in the 90s, technically, because that's when the movies take place. They're like, oh, so many white people. Well, yeah, there's a lot of white people in England in the 90s. But if you go back to the 1800s, apparently England was just an ethnic rainbow. Which I mean, look, I didn't have any problem with anybody being any different race in Harry Potter. Those things don't matter to me because all that mattered was that the game is good, and the game was good. By the way, it was very, very good. But all I had to say though about the racial stuff in the game was I was like, man, Dumbledore must be really racist because the second he becomes the headmaster of Hogwarts, suddenly the selection process gets a lot more selective. So anyone who wanted to play as a character that identified as any gender that differed from their birth had the freedom to do so, and anyone who didn't weren't forced into it. But that wasn't enough for the activists and games journalists who made it their mission to destroy this game. And guess what happened despite their ire? Players did not boycott Hogwarts Legacy. They celebrated it. Meanwhile, the one character added to appease critics, Serena Ryan, didn't satisfy them anyway, so what exactly would make them happy? The answer is, of course, nothing. Because it's not about the game. It's about control. Control over messaging, control over tone, and control over what is considered acceptable by the gaming access media. It's a holdover hissy fit because the success of Hogwarts Legacy showed the gaming media how irrelevant they are. It showed how little power they truly have over consumer desire and the massive ideological disconnect that exists between mainstream outlets like The Gamer and Game Rant and Kotaku and Polygon and the players that they supposedly serve. They have absolutely no bearing on the decisions being made by gamers. And the fans already moved on. The reality is simple. Hogwarts Legacy succeeded because it focused on adventure, exploration, and the timeless fantasy of a magical world. And that's what players want. That's all they want. Sequel doesn't need a new identity or an ideological checklist. It doesn't need to heal a fandom that's been enjoying itself just fine. Seriously, go to Universal Studios, walk down Diagon Alley, see how many people there are boycotting Harry Potter. They're not. Go to Epic Universe. Go into the Harry Potter Wizarding World there. The 3-hour wait time for Battle at the Ministry that is every single day. Nobody there is boycotting Harry Potter. Go into any of the merchandise stores and see just how big this boycott of theirs is. Go into any of the restaurants. Look at all the people with butterbeer, all the people wearing wizard robes, all the people buying wands, doing magic on the street. None of it is being boycotted, despite what the media wants you to think. So, Hogwarts Legacy only needs to deliver another great game with Hogwarts Legacy 2. One that trusts its audience instead of trying to impress the same media that's still mad it succeeded without their permission. And that's the thing. The gaming media decided that this game was going to fail, and it didn't fail. And that is unforgivable. And not only did it not fail, it wasn't a modest success. It was a gangbusters, blockbuster, major game that probably kept WB Games afloat for longer after it lost $200 million on the ideological love letter that was Sweet Baby Inc.'s The Squad Kill the Justice League. I can't say the S word on YouTube or we get, dinged for that. But you know what I'm talking about. Task Force X, Harley Quinn, King Shark, Deadshot, all of them. That game tanked so hard and ruined one of the greatest game franchises in history, all because they trusted companies like Sweet Baby Inc. to come in and make ideological changes because Batman is apparently too toxic and male. Oh, he's a white billionaire. So Harley Quinn's got to shoot him in the face in an alleyway. Green Lantern's got to be killed so Captain Boomerang can literally piss on his corpse. That's what gamers are rebelling against. And then Hogwarts Legacy comes out, and it's actually good, and it's authentic, and it feels like you're living in that world, and it's open world, and you can fly around on a broom or fly around on a hippogriff or a thestral. You have the room of requirement. You have all the different classes. You have the entire castle and the surrounding area to explore. Hogsmeade, a tremendous battle system. This game rocked. It really did. And if you wanted your main character to be a trans person, you had that option. But people that didn't want it had the option to not include it. So there you go. It offered choice, and I don't think there's any problem with choice. I love choice in video game. You want your character to be gay? Cool. Your character can be gay. It's your choice, but don't push it on everybody. Make it so that you have an option to sidestep that stuff if that's what you want. Make the game your own. That's the future of gaming, is choice. But some people, like Kim Belair of Sweet Baby Inc., they don't want to give you a choice. They want to just shove the ideology in your face. And that's what Game Rant wanted in this editorial that they wrote. They wanted them to shove a trans main character in your face for the entire game, all to avoid a boycott that never happened. So, what do you guys think? Did you play Hogwarts Legacy? Did you enjoy it? Is there a boycott? Is Hogwarts Legacy 2 in trouble? Is the gaming media right and I'm wrong? Sound off in the comments below and let me know. Sorry, guys, I got a little angry during that one, but I am very passionate about about this topic because I was incensed when I saw it. I saw them saying like, "Oh, we got to stop the boycott that harmed the first game," and I'm like, that is an outrageous lie. Like, it's absolutely outrageous. So yeah, that was a rant of epic proportion. I'm gonna have to make that one a regular video. All right, so not seeing any super chats. So don't have anything to read. We don't have time for another story. So probably gonna end it here, guys. I'm gonna redirect you guys to Midnight's Edge in the morning, which I will be on at 10:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here. I have been having a great time on Midnight's Edge. Make sure that you guys are keeping your eye on the internet, on X, and following all of us on Friday, because as Pro and Jonas have both been pushing, there's a major announcement coming on Thursday. Hey, Wildman of Yavin checking in for $5 in super chat check. Thank you very much, Wildman of Yavin, for being our lone super chatter for this stream. But there's a major announcement coming Friday, and guys, like, this is not a Tony Khan situation where I'm like, major announcement. It's going to be like, we got a new couch for the offices at that Park Place. No, it is like legitimately one of the biggest announcements that we could possibly make. It's exciting. I am super excited. I'm humbled to be a part of it. I'm honored to be a part of it. And you guys are going to see it all on Friday. So, yeah, make sure you, Chef Eddie, is that a real question? Of course I'm not on Blue Sky. Ugh. Yeah, no, never, ever. I think we may have like grabbed like a username for me on Blue Sky a while back with nothing on it because we didn't want like somebody else to grab it. But other than that, yeah, no, I'm not on Blue Sky. But yeah, so keep your eyes peeled on Friday, guys, because big things are happening and it's going to be an exciting week. It's going to be a busy week. It's going to be an exciting week. So apologies for will it be just yes, will it be a notification? You're probably just going to have to keep your eyes peeled to our social media. So there will be something on that parkplace.com, I think, also. I literally can't give any more information about that, just that there's something coming. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in this morning. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow night for Toonie Talk TV with myself, Kev, Trish, Lauren, Martin, Nolan. We will be back with another fun night of conversation with all of you. So make sure you tune in tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Also, we'll be back here for Marvin Movie Monster in the morning on Friday at 9 a.m. And I'm sending you over to Midnight's Edge in the morning. Make sure when you get there, you'll let them know it's a Toonie Town raid. Let them know Marvin sent you. And I'll see you guys over there. So thank you very much for all of us here at the Toonie Town channels. I'm Marvin the Movie Monster. Now get out of here!